expenses. Do you have any questions about those?
I got to say, you've done an amazing job with the forward thinking in your time here. It's some of the stuff you've shown me in the streets and what you're doing and the treatment plant. And if you haven't been into the treatment plant, I know it's not overly fascinating to most people, but it is worth going out and taking a look, see how things function. But really, from Mayor Lawrence and the people all before us have taken this city forward thinking. It's amazing what it's become.
Well, I would say that my predecessors have set us up well, and I have some experience working in cities that have not had that forward thinking, and it's not a pleasant spot to be in. When you come to council and you need $10 million to fix your stuff, and you know you can only get $100,000, so all you're doing is band-aiding it. You're not even keeping up with what deteriorated that year. So it is my goal on my shift here as the leader of the Public Works Department not to be the guy that lets it fail. So we're going to try to utilize some benchmarking and metrics and capital improvement programs and asset management to try to keep up on it. And that's a big goal of what we're trying to do, and you'll see that over and over coming in front of you.
It used to be a very hard sell to get money for a waste treatment plant, you know. I still consider myself that dude. We were down on the bottom of the totem pole, you know, for a long time. Stray dogs, taken to the sewer plant, you know, just everything. It's come a long ways. It's very impressive. It really is. What the city's done before I ever got here. It's amazing.
I mean, as far as my 2 cents, Sunday, like I said, we were at the park. I utilized the family bathroom. I know people don't think about bathrooms, and I didn't think about it until I got in there, how clean the family bathroom portion was. I was just amazed by it. So I just want to give you props and the staff props for cleaning it, have soap in there. I mean, you never know what you're going to get into when you have to take a little one to the restroom, right? Could care less necessarily about myself or, you know, what I have in there, but, you know, when you have a 6, 4, and 2-year-old, it was amazing. So I just want to say thank you for that.
I'll pass that along to them. It means a lot to the crew. They work hard for that.
I did tell my son that there's an emergency exit in there, and I did tell him, because we could not find the door on the outside of the building, that it ran to a capsule in the lake, but that's only for emergencies. So if he should inquire about that, if you could just go ahead and pass that along as well, because we couldn't find the emergency exit on the other side of the building. Pretty sure it goes into the tornado shelter, but I could be wrong.
It goes into the main room, which has a door that exits out, yes.
Yes, thank you. I prefer the capsule underneath the lake, but
Well, yeah.
is what it is, right?
Next time you clean the, what do you call them, doodads under the driveway in my neighborhood?
Oh, yes.
Next time you they use the sewer deal to clean those out, invite Homer out so he can get a visual how powerful that machine is.
Yeah, so that is something worth bringing up, actually, is that piece of equipment is very expensive, and it's multi-purpose, right? We use it to pothole around non-destructive digging so we don't damage things sometimes. We also use it to assist the street department from time to time in cleaning out the culverts and underneath driveways and so forth. So, you know, we're not a large enough city that we can have something like that in each department, so we do cross-use those, but it's nice that we can do that too.
It was quite entertaining for me that morning, sitting on the couch watching them run. They do a tremendous job. I've got compliments, by the way, on the ditches in our neighborhood. The people are, because we've been butchered before out there, as you quite know.
So we've got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
We got a lot more ditches to clean, and we'll probably be working on it all the way through the end of the year, but we're going to stay on as long as we can and try to get as many as we can cleaned.
The mayor brings up another question I had. Sorry, guys. In the pictures, I believe it's that and I believe it was pictures of ditching. You're doing a ditch on the, in your Public Works staff report?
Yes.
There's a picture of a ditch being cleared out by, like, maybe it looks like a backhoe?
Correct.
Why don't we take some kind of tubing, right, and lay it in that ditch and then put dirt over that? I mean, is that, as opposed to it just being Again, maybe this is also not done yet. I don't,
No, so,
after this dirt, does it just then,
so we seed it back with grass and try to establish a vegetation in there. The tubing would be a little bit hard because you're gonna have to grow grass on top of that too. And you would add a lot of cost to doing that process. We don't have to clean these out a tremendous amount of time, but it's just time. We're gonna go through there. Part of that is, we're gonna do a study in that whole neighborhood, over in the mayor's neighborhood, actually, in that neighborhood, along with some other areas where we're gonna be doing some pavement maintenance. And I don't wanna get in a situation where, so we're gonna study to see where we're at on our drainage, but I want it cleaned out so that we can get a good study. That's part of this push right now. And then, because what I don't want to do is pave this piece of street and then rip it up to put a new culvert in, because the study then came back and said, that culvert needs to be a little bigger, and that would really help you out. So we're going to do the study, so we're going to clean it, get it as good as we can get it, do the study, and then we're going to make those changes, and then we're going to do the streets. So
Okay.
hopefully we're thinking it out. That's what we're trying to do.
thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick.
Should we clap after that? Pretty good.
All right. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
And I'm going to actually ask that we can make that, I know you're going to throw a tomato at me, I'm going to ask for it to be 20 minutes instead of the 10 stated, and because of the late hour, if you wouldn't mind allowing non-essential personnel who don't have anything to share during
Absolutely.
member items to be released.
Absolutely.
Can we add those executive sessions together?
No, you can't, they're separate.
Disregard, sorry.
It's all
Why
right.
did I even think we could do that? I know, I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor, I move to recess into executive session for consultation with the city attorney, which would be deemed privilege in the attorney-client relationship per KSA 754319B2. The session to include the governing body, city administrator, city attorney, and community development director. The open meeting will resume at 9:32.
Second? Tim?
All in favor? Did I do that?
Aye.
All opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Can I get another motion to,
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recess into executive session for preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property per KSA 75-4319B6. Session to include governing body, city administrator, community development director, assistant city administrator, fire chief, no fire chief, and city attorney, and resume an open session at 9:58.
Second.
all in
Thank you, Mike.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Member items. Anybody?
Sure, I wanted to congratulate Vern on the promotion at the street department, and then also just another shout out to Officer Sell that you ordained, not ordained. Ordained? You know what I mean. Sworn in this evening, thank you. That's all I believe had. Thank you.
All right, I had a question. When are we proposing to put in the street light at Harry and Andover? I know it's in this year's time frame.
It's in engineering as we speak. Rick has seen field check plans, so I would expect final plans real soon.
All right, very good. Conference cabin, is it big enough for us to have a small workshop in there sometime just to check it out and get the feel of it and
Non-COVID.
yeah, non-COVID, at some point?
Be much more quaint, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
4 6-foot tables in there. There's, and then they have 6 chairs for each table, and a whiteboard.
mhm.
So I guess as long as you want to.
We can go old school in there, so. That's right.
But it's certainly a resolution that I think we can say.
Does the Wi-Fi go out that far?
No, that is a good question. I don't, we would need to go test the Wi-Fi to make sure it's strong enough at that part of the park to support all of you on iCompass, but we can look into that.
Put a booster out there. I don't know. Another thing I had was back onto the mask thing, and I think a lot of people are supporting just wearing them normally out in the public, but I would like to, say something to the businesses in town. If you put a sign on your front door and say, it's required to wear a mask when you come into my business, I think that's up to them. I think that's a really good thing they can do. And if it's on there, you're going to get a lot of people who follow the rule on that, especially in our city. So I think that's just put that out there. Any businesses that, that are listening or anyone who asks us, who emails or calls into the city, I would suggest we say that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea.
I agree.
Last thing I have on here is disc golf.
Let's do it.
So,
I'm
Yeah.
ready, I'm all in.
yeah, so we spoke about this at the last meeting, in our member item comments, and so I kind of took it on my own a little bit to ask one of the professional designers just to come out and just ride through the park with me, just as what do you think, and so a lot of great ideas and opinions on how awesome our park is and how it would fit very easily over starting between Yorktown and the road coming into the city and wrapping around to the back northwest corner, and then coming back around on the south side of the amphitheater and back up to the front where the pavilion is. And he was extremely positive and excited to see how, because he had never been to our park, and he was like, "Oh wow! I mean, who knew that this was back here in our northwest corner of our, a southwest corner of our property?" And so if you haven't been back there, you should go. And even just to the west of the far south portion of the Public Works, or the Parks Department, it's a really cool place back there. So I do want to make a correction. At the last meeting, I did say that Eric from Disc Golf, Dynamic Disc was my friend. I misspoke. He is a professional acquaintance that I've been dealing with on this for well over 2 years, and very nice person to talk with, but I want to make that correction for the minutes.
Thank you.
It was probably in our member items, but if I think I said it, and I had 2 people tell me that I said it, but I apologize for that.
The disc golf by no means prohibit, I mean, it doesn't take up space to where you can't use it for anything else. It's still wide open spaces.
Right, yeah. So it's a great thing, and I know we're going to be talking about this in the next several weeks to month, and I just want you to know that it would bring a lot of people to our park and to see how awesome it is, and nothing more better, probably not the best words there, to
Been around me too long.
yeah, to have someone, in this time that we're having in the COVID, is to be out in an open space and enjoy open space. And I played over at Oak Park this past weekend in Wichita, and nice wooded area, not overly wooded, but very similar to our park. If you don't know where that is, it's over on the river. The river wraps around it on 3 sides, and a really kind of cool place. And there's not really much in that park. It's just disc golf and several pavilions that people can go out and just do whatever they want to in it. So very similar to what we have, except we have an amphitheater and they don't have one there.
I would like to walk around it with you, and you can educate me, because I don't even understand, but I know they're out there and people use them, so I'd be more than happy to walk around and see what we can do. Something
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. But I do want you to start calling it disc golf, though.
Oh, okay.
Mayor's been calling it frisbee. So.
So the meeting's gone too long when the microphone dies, so that's why I'm standing here now. I do want to address Mr. Warrington's comments about when we're going to get this done and what our process is. Staff met earlier this week, and we've got an outstanding contract with Bryce Foster for some work that they did a little bit for, but we still had a little bit more left in that contract that they haven't done. So I think there could be a combination of having Bryce Foster, who's designed all the parks in the city of Andover, knows very well what the aesthetic feel of Central Park should be and how to protect that passive feel, have them work with an expert on disc golf so that we can come up with that course. So we will move forward with getting contracts and agreements for you all to approve at a future meeting.
Yeah, I would like to just talk a little bit more on that. Obviously, these people design this for a living, and I think that we should allow the professional disc golf people to, maybe come up with a 75-85% model, and then share it with our landscape architects and planners, and let them, see if they want to twerk it a little bit. But I think
What's
that
what it?
Twerk it.
What?
Tweak it.
Tweak it.
Tweak it.
It's a technical
He
term.
can't have lunch with the mayor no more, Mayor.
Sorry, technical term.
So if they want to do whatever they want to, a little bit to it, and then come back and say, okay, that's great. But I think that we're going to get the best use out of our disc golf designer with where it needs to go besides a landscape designer. What I would like to see the landscape designer do is, we're going to be putting in concrete tee pads, to throw off from. What I would like to see the landscape designer come up with is, how can we make that look really cool? Do we put pavers, concrete pavers around the tee pad or something like that
Make it
to
look more
make
nature,
it,
more natural.
and also just make it look different than anything else. And there's tons and tons of pictures out there that you can pull up disc golf tee pads, and you'll see how cool they are, some of them. So
All right. Thank you.
that's all I had.
Anybody else?
I can say something. Oh, wait, do you want to talk first?
No, go ahead, bro.
I won't say a lot. Isn't that weird? Right? So, a lot of the decision that we made tonight on masks, I feel has to do a lot with fear and information that we get from various sources. And unfortunately, we hear this and that, and things change, and that's kind of the scientific process, and that's fine. It's not just that we're living in. I got to tell you, I've been thinking a lot lately. It's somewhat depressing what's going on in our country, in the world, not just with this, but with, I don't know, the election and the way things are going with that, with news and the way that they do what they do, with even friends and family and different points of view that used to be fun to talk about have become not that way. And I feel like I've been trying to put together something cool to say, and I couldn't, but I was watching Blade Runner, which is one of the most amazing movies that I've ever seen, and there's a lot of things in it. And this is, there's a word in this, it's a little bit, I apologize for using it, it's not a curse word, but you'll know when I say it. But one of the things at the end of the movie is there's I guess a replicant or an android that's dying, and this Harrison Ford, one of my favorite actors, is getting ready to fall off the side of a building, so he's afraid for his life.
His birthday was yesterday, too.
Which, was it really? He's an old man. I've met him a couple times. But anyway, so he was hanging off the end of the building, and he's going to die, and the replicant, who he was actually tasked with killing, saved him. And as he was getting ready to save him, he looked down at him, and he said something that I thought was pretty profound, and it's pretty short. So bear with me, and I'm not going to talk like him. He's an amazing actor, the guy that said it. But he said, it's quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it's like to be a slave. And I thought about that. I'm like, well, that's kind of a weird thing to say. And I'm like, we are in fear, and does that mean that we're a slave? That's where my mind went. And I'm thinking, in a way we are. We're allowing ourselves to become that way. We allow ourselves to be so afraid of a bug that's out there that we allow ourselves to give up freedoms, which in a way is that. We also listen to people in a way that we think that they're our savior. We give them too much control, whether it's city council that people are given control, or it's doctors that have different agendas that they're given control. That's just, it was very impactful to me, and I think that maybe it's a way of thinking that a lot of people that are scared are really scared of that. They're scared of giving up. Even this little modicum of control could be huge in this case. We might be years in this pandemic before a cure is found. Today we're talking masks, could be lockdowns next year, schools could disappear, all kinds of things that we're giving up, not really sure what for. You talk about life, well, we're all dying today. We don't want to die, but we are. It could be many things. So when I heard that, I thought it was pretty profound, and just thought I would share that with everybody. That's all I got.
Thank you. It's insightful, and I still stand by what I put in the letter I put in the utility bill. We should be respectful of one another. If someone's uncomfortable, then give them their space, and that's just should be everyday life, you know what I mean? And I like what Mike said, the businesses, and I'm the worst, I got to start at least having one on me, because if they ask me to wear one, then I should wear one, So, but I do stand by that, and that, to Troy's point, people used to ask me, because I rode all over this country on my motorcycle, literally, and I don't ride in groups, I just take off and go. And I've had more people than I care to remember ask me, aren't you afraid of dying out there by yourself? And my answer is always, no, I'm scared to die on my couch. You know what I mean? So that's part of my psyche, and I know everybody's not like that, but I'd rather die doing something I love than sitting on the couch waiting for something to sneak up and get me. And I have the utmost respect for all of you. I do, all of you. Your opinions matter to me. We ain't always going to agree. It's been driving me crazy because when you do something for a living, you get passionate about it, and it is what it is, so, but I do appreciate all of your opinion, and quite frankly, I love you all very much, so.
I sometimes wish that reporters can stay here at the end and hear some of our comments at the end instead of our limited comments that we say when we're passing items or not passing them. So I think they would probably know who we really are if they stayed or listened or saw the comments that we say at the end.
Yeah, something was said that really bothered me, and it goes to the people before me, not me. It's not me, it's from y'all that were here before me. Les, Jenny, Lance, Mayor Lawrence, all the people that have got us from point A to point B. And it irritated me so bad I was about to have a come apart. But one of the people that needs to go back and take English Comp 1 and 2 out of El Dorado made the comment that we follow Wichita. No. Wichita is not, I'm sorry, another city. Last time I checked, y'all made Andover the 38th greatest place in this country to live. I didn't see nobody else's name on there in our neighborhood. So hats off to all y'all, and we aren't followers, we're leaders. All of you are. And whether we butt heads from time to time and every day, at the end of the day, we all sit up here and we all take the same heat for the same thing, or we take the praise for the same thing. So we're going to continue to be a team as long as the city will have me as a mayor. And sometimes I get a little touchy, Mike, and I apologize. It's been a little bit contentious week. So, thank you all. Do you have anything, young lady?
I know.
Anybody else?
I would like Jenny to reach out to Daniel Parks and let him know that a lot of folks are very happy with the dog parks. If y'all haven't been over there, they changed the fountains.
Fountains.
Hydrants and stuff. It looks really good. I've been contacted 3 or 4 times saying they really do like it. One suggestion that I meant to email him and I haven't, so if I see him tomorrow, is they can move the poop bucket away from the sitting area. That would be phenomenal. That's all I got. Imagine saying poop bucket up.
He's a great asset to have on our team, Daniel. Yeah, he's
Yep.
an exceptional guy. Really good at what he does.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.